Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles, but she was in videos earlier today, right? So you guys got to hear her. She's doing a little bit better. Her voice is a little bit better. She's on some meds, so that's a good thing. I don't think she cares about this. We're going to talk about Dragon Age, the Veilguard, and some of these cringy clips of this game, and apparently there's a lot of controversy around this game. I'm going to be right up front. I don't care one way or the other, right? I've looked at these clips and I'm like, yeah, this is a game that I have absolutely no interest in ever buying, playing, whatever. I don't care, but it is kind of funny. And where I want to go with this is I want to kind of look at the development history of this game, because we're seeing a lot of games come out lately. People are like, well, I thought the wokeness was over. It's like, well, I think a lot of companies are pulling the plug or walking back, quote unquote, woke games. But this thing is a relic from 2015, and it seems to show, right? The same thing happened with Concord. The same thing happened with Dustborn. These games they started development on them in like 2015, 2016, 2017. And it shows. And what's going to happen is we're going to have a bunch of these games land because the development cycle is so long, and they're going to be like completely out of time. They're going to be like relics of the past. It's basically going to be like a time capsule. Like, just within the last year, so many companies have walked back their DEI initiatives. I did a video yesterday talking about Boeing, and so many of these AAA studios especially are laying people off. I think they're pivoting away from these kinds of games. But we're going to watch some of these clips and sort of chuckle along. Again, I would say look at this game as not being indicative of what is going to be developed, but indicative of what was. And I think this is why we need indie games so bad, for sure. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Go out to clownfishminus.com. We've got some merch out there. You can join the minus club. We don't have a plus club. We have a minus club because we're contrary. And there are some exclusive podcasts out there for you currently. There's a whole bunch of them out there. It helps the channel out. We don't do a bunch of live streams, so if you want to do this instead, it would be greatly appreciated. So yeah, let's look at some of these clips here. I'm trying to gather where this game is at. Everything I have heard is that it's massively underperforming, and BioWare needed a big hit. And this might not be the big hit they're looking for. Gamers are actively rejecting this game. It is very different from the previous installments, but I saw this today, and I'm like, man, you want to talk about anti-marketing? This scene alone is enough to chase most gamers off. Let's watch this. Somebody add a laugh track to it. It's pretty funny. We got Seinfeld going on here.
Vegetables. Thank you. So, I'm non-binary.
It's just like that, right?
What does that mean?
It means I don't feel like a man or a woman.
If you are neither a man nor a woman, then what are you?
Non-binary. I just said, and I'm going to use they instead of she from now on.
Okay, so what is it with all of the games, all of the animation, all the comic books from this era being therapy sessions for the people working on them? I swear to God, like you look at so much of the animation, you look at She-Ra, right? The new She-Ra, Netflix She-Ra, or you look at Steven Universe, or any of those shows, you look at a lot of these video games, and they do feel like multi-million-dollar therapy sessions. Again, this thing is a relic from another era.
Because I have criticized your dress or your manners.
It isn't.
Oh my God.
Under the Q, the term for one whose gender does not match the one given to them at birth was a cunithlock. Perhaps you are like that.
Why do you have to keep picking at it? Why can't you just be happy for me?
Evitash, chakra to ebra.
Who I am? Even if I don't feel like I fit, even if I feel wrong?
No, you misunderstood.
Oh my God.
I will go. Thank you for inviting me to your home.
Oh my God. So, yeah, it's kind of awkward, isn't it? Just, hey, mom, dad, I'm non-binary. But wait, it gets better. That's not the only scene. Apparently, this is a whole major plot point in this game, and this is kind of what gamers get frustrated with, right? And I'm not. Here's the thing: you can do this the right way, you can do it the wrong way. The right way is, hey, it just happens to be organic, whatever. When you call attention to it, and you call it out, and you make it a huge plot point of the game or whatever, it does turn people off. Right. It turns people away. A lot of people, and especially now, like, I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if people would get their backs up as much as they do currently if it wasn't for damn near a decade of being called a bigot, a homophobe. You hate LGBTQ plus people. You hate black people. You hate gay people. Gamers are trash. Gamers are awful. Gamers. You better use your proper pronouns, or you can't. You know what I'm saying? Gamers have been lectured and abused and kicked around for a decade, and they're tired. And this is why so many of these AAA titles are not working out the way they were hoping they were going to work out, because a lot of gamers have moved on. And again, this thing is a relic from 2015. Very clearly. And they clearly had those sensibilities, and they thought this was going to be the new audience, just like so many of these other AAA studios. By the time they got the damn game out, the public had moved on. The general public had moved on. And this is going to be like watching a progressive 70s show in the mid-1980s. It's going to be like Family Ties, right? Family Ties not being a progressive 70s show, but you had that culture clash, right? You had the crusty-ass hippie parents. They meant well, but they were relics of another era. And then you had Alex P. Keaton. And I really think what's going to happen, if things go the way people are saying things are going to go next week with the election, it feels like we're coming out of the 70s and into a new 80s. Possibly. Again, I'm recording this before the election. I have no idea how it's going to go ultimately. But if that does happen, we're going to have a lot of entertainment from the last 10 years that's going to look quaint and crusty and antiquated. And even people that are LGBTQ plus non-binary are going to look at this stuff and go like, God, this is so cringy. It was like the very special episode of like Bewitched where Tabitha has a black friend or whatever. Like, that was a big deal. We had to make a whole big deal out of it. Like, oh my God, Tabitha knows a black kid, you know, and they did this all the time back in the day. It's like we have to draw attention to it. It's a very special episode. And that's what this game feels like, just from the outside looking in. Again, I have no interest whatsoever in playing this game, but it looks really cringy. Let's watch this other clip here.
Pounding that snake's nose. She's still holding the ruby in her other hand. Maker's panties. I was so proud.
Maker's panties? Oh my God.
Ah, shit. They're still holding it. Sorry.
Oh no, you misgendered the devil lady. Just like her mom. Oh, I'm sorry, their mom. Just like their mom.
What are you doing?
Pulling a barb.
Oh, okay. A barb?
Tradition in the Lords of Fortune from one of our old members, Barv. Good guy, but like most of us, his plans went sideways a lot. Bad blood among your crew's not good for morale, but there's not always time for big, drawn-out apologies. So when one of us screws up and we know we've screwed up, we do a quick 10 to put it right. Pulling a barb. Oh, there we go.
I'm sorry I misgendered you. Now I have to do some push-ups.
I'm glad the Lords of Fortune have Tarsh's back.
Oh, Tarsh isn't the first non-binary member of the Lords.
Really?
It was a little before your time, but Horlicks was one of ours.
Huh.
Bastard looked better than I did in a dress or pants. And out of them, too.
Any reason you can't just apologise?
Sometimes people say, oops, sorry, and hope that fixes it. But
Oh my
they just want to get the whole thing over with. Trust me, I know.
It's not enough to just say, oops, I'm sorry. Oops, I'm sorry. I've got to do some push-ups too.
Pulling a bath, you sweat a little. Makes you think about it a little more. Shows the other person you mean it.
What if they mean it when they say they're sorry, though?
And that's the other reason. Some people mess up and get all dramatic. They make it about them.
Okay, so again, you want to talk about working through issues. This is like a whole, I saw a comic or something somebody did where if you accidentally misgender someone, like you're not supposed to make a big deal out of it, but you're also supposed to be sincere in your apology. These are like all the talking points of like, somebody had a checklist who worked on this game. It's like, okay, well, we need to get this in there. So make sure we go read some literature or go out to some message boards or something and do this correctly. What happens if you unintentionally offend a non-binary person with horns?
Oh, I didn't mean it right. I'd never do that on purpose. They feel so bad about it that it's on everyone else to smooth it over and make them feel better.
Oh, okay. Yes, some people might do that.
Pulling a barb puts it on the person who screwed up. They made the mess, they fix it, done. Pounding that.
God. Okay, yeah. This is some anti-marketing, right? So again, I don't know how this game ultimately is going to do. People are saying it's not selling very well, but it needs to. Apparently it needs to, because according to Bloomberg, Jason Schreier said that, it had a very, very turbulent development period, and that BioWare has had a number of high-profile flops. Mass Effect Andromeda was widely panned. Anthem flopped critically and commercially, but that's okay. This game is gonna fix it for them, right? So yeah, I was going out to Wikipedia, and you can see that yes, it started development in 2015 with Mike Laidlaw as the creative director. It was intended to be a smaller, more narrative-focused game. Yeah, certainly is narrative-focused, right? See how it's doing on Steam here. 84,000 all-time peak 2 hours ago. Well, it's doing better than Concord. That's for sure. But yeah, everybody's talking about it, not for the right reasons, and I have a feeling it's probably just going to kind of disappear. It's a relic, guys. Like, this is the thing. I could do multiple videos on this game. I could do a whole bunch and talk about one. I really, truly don't give a shit. I don't care. I just don't care. But I wanted to do a video because I wanted to show that a lot of times when these games come out current year, it's because they started development years ago. And all you do is just point and laugh. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Don't buy it. Point and laugh. Be like, yeah, next time, maybe you want to get the game out a little bit sooner. Took you damn near a decade to get this thing out, and it shows. And I think we're going to see a bunch of games like this. I really do. I think there are a bunch of games in the pipeline right now that are going to come out in the next year or two. A bunch of movies, too. A bunch of TV shows. A bunch of comic books, maybe. And, comics maybe not so much, because there's a much shorter release window there, usually. But we're going to have this weird period in entertainment where woke is no longer cool. The publishers, the studios know it's no longer cool, but they've already spent a shit ton of money on this stuff, and they can't exactly walk it back now, right? So they're just going to release it and hope for the best. But I noticed that I don't think they were making a big deal about it, but the players found it. I could be wrong in this. Again, I'm only kind of half paying attention to this. It's just cringy. I mean, I would have expected this in 2018, but not 2024. But just brace yourself. I think we got a few more turds that need to be flushed before the system is cleansed, before the colon is cleansed. So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later. Join the reef. Go to clownfish-.com. That's clownfish-.com. You will get exclusive access to podcasts and videos and comic strips and more, as well as merch discounts. Check it out. If you were a member, you could get this t-shirt, this dismal t-shirt on our website. You'd get a 10% discount on that. You can also join in the community on clownfish-.com. Thank you so much for the support.